5,000 years ago, this plant fed empires and healed the sick. Today, it is labeled a useless weed and attacked with chemicals backed by billions of dollars. But why would a nutrient-packed survivor, once revered across continents, transform into a global enemy? To understand who profits and what was lost along the way, you have to see what made it impossible to kill in the first place. In the hills of Crete, a group of scientists once puzzled over a simple village salad: tomatoes, onions, olive oil, and a handful of crisp, slightly sour leaves called glystrida. It was the 1960s, and these researchers were searching for clues to the island's remarkable heart health. The 7-country study, led by Ansel Keys, would later point to the Mediterranean diet as a shield against heart disease. But tucked into that diet, often overlooked, was purslane, glystrida, packed with omega-3 fatty acids, antioxidants, and minerals. Long before nutritionists counted fatty acids, purslane had already left its mark on civilizations. Pliny the Elder, writing in the 1st century, called it both a vegetable and a charm against evil. Hippocrates prescribed it for fevers and inflammation. In ancient Egypt, purslane grew along the Nile, harvested for food and medicine. Archaeological digs in North America have turned up purslane seeds in layers dating back nearly 3,000 years, showing it was gathered by indigenous peoples long before European contact. In China, it became ma qi xian, a remedy for summer heat and stomach troubles. Across the world, the same plant appeared in folk remedies, salads, and stews, its reputation as a healer and a food quietly spreading from continent to continent. Yet in modern times, purslane faded from memory in many places, replaced by crops that needed more water, more fertilizer, more care. The plant that once thrived in kitchen gardens and wild fields was slowly written out of cookbooks and official dietary advice. Its name survived in fragments: verdolaga in Mexico, where it still appears in home-cooked stews; glystrida in Greek village markets; a stubborn green in the cracks of city sidewalks. This gradual erasure left a forgotten food in plain sight. For scientists retracing its story, the mystery deepens. How did a plant so rich in nutrients, so resilient to drought and poor soil, become something to ignore or eradicate? Why did its long history as a superfood vanish from public memory, even as modern diets grew more dependent on supplements and packaged greens? The answers lie not just in biology, but in the ways cultures remember or forget their own food heritage. Purslane survives where other plants fail, not by luck but by design. Its leaves hold a secret that lets it thrive in places too dry, too hot, or too neglected for most crops. When the soil dries and the sun beats down, purslane shifts gears, switching from its usual C4 photosynthesis to a backup plan called KM. At night, when the air is cooler and water loss is minimal, it opens tiny pores to take in carbon dioxide and stores it until daylight. This trick, more common in desert succulents, slashes water use and keeps the plant alive through droughts that would kill lettuce or spinach. In lab tests, purslane's water savings outpace most supermarket greens, making it a champion of efficiency. But resilience is not just about surviving heat. Purslane stems are thick and juicy, snapping easily, yet each broken piece can root and grow into a new plant. Gardeners who pull it up often find it back within days, sometimes stronger than before. Even a fragment left behind in the soil can sprout, turning every attempt at removal into an opportunity for the plant to multiply. This regenerative ability means that mowing, tilling, or even drought rarely wipe it out for long. Then there are the seeds. A single purslane plant scatters tens of thousands, sometimes over 200,000, tiny black seeds across the ground. These seeds can wait for years in the soil, ready to germinate when the conditions are right. Rain, a crack in the pavement, or a patch of disturbed earth is all it takes. In fields, gardens, and even city sidewalks, Purslane appears almost overnight, filling any gap left by less adaptable plants. These survival strategies are not just quirks. They are the reason purslane outcompetes crops that need irrigation, fertilizer, and constant care. Where monocultures struggle, purslane flourishes, asking for nothing and giving back more nutrition than most cultivated greens. Its ability to endure, regenerate, and spread makes it nearly impossible to kill by ordinary means. For anyone invested in selling chemicals or controlling what grows, a plant this independent is more than a nuisance. It is a challenge to the very idea of managed input-heavy agriculture, a wild card that refuses to play by the rules. In nutrition labs around the world, purslane stands out for reasons that have nothing to do with folklore or tradition. On paper, its numbers put most supermarket greens to shame. Purslane contains more alpha-linolenic acid, an essential omega-3 fatty acid, than any other leafy vegetable tested. At 300 to 400 milligrams per 100 grams of fresh weight, it beats out spinach, kale, chard, and lettuce, all of which hover far lower on the scale. Omega-3 fatty acids, usually associated with fatty fish, are rare in plants. Yet here is a weed, thriving in sidewalk cracks, delivering levels that rival flaxseed and approach the lower range of salmon. The story does not end with fatty acids. Purslane is a powerhouse of vitamins A and E, both critical for vision, skin, and immune function. Its vitamin A content, in the form of beta-carotene, exceeds that of most cultivated greens. Vitamin E, a potent antioxidant, is present in amounts that nutritionists describe as remarkable for a wild plant. Purslane also supplies vitamin C, magnesium, potassium, and trace minerals that support nerve and muscle health. Its antioxidants, betalains and flavonoids, help neutralize cellular stress, contributing to the plant's reputation for healing and longevity. Water efficiency is another factor that sets purslane apart. In controlled trials, it yields more edible greens per drop than almost any other vegetable. Drought barely slows it down. While lettuce and spinach wilt without irrigation, purslane keeps growing, its succulent leaves locking in moisture. A hectare can produce up to 20 tons of fresh greens, using a fraction of the water required by conventional crop. Nutrition scientist Artemis Simopoulos, whose work on Mediterranean diets helped shift global eating habits, once called purslane one of the most nutritionally dense leafy greens, with omega-3 levels rivaling fish. For a plant dismissed as a weed, the numbers are hard to ignore. The question then is why a crop with so much to offer is so often left out of the conversation about healthy eating, and who might benefit from its absence. In 1974, a new product hit the shelves. Roundup was Monsanto's flagship herbicide. Advertisements promised homeowners and farmers a world free of unwanted plants, a perfect green lawn or weedless field at the push of a sprayer. Over the decades, chemical control became the norm, supported by billions in advertising and the growing influence of the lawn care industry. Yet in all the glossy brochures and trade show displays, purslane was rarely named. It simply fell under the banner of broadleaf weeds, lumped in with dandelions and clover, erased from the conversation as a food or medicine. When Bayer acquired Monsanto in 2018, the playbook stayed the same. Promote herbicides, defend the idea of weed-free landscapes, and leave little room for plants that thrive on their own terms. Homeowners, armed with spray bottles and a sense of duty, joined the fight. Across suburbia, the sight of purslane in a sidewalk crack became a call to action. Never mind that the plant contained more omega-3 fatty acids than most store-bought greens. Extension offices and gardening manuals echoed the message, listing purslane as a nuisance to be eradicated. No company memo ordered its erasure. The system simply rewarded uniformity, and purslane paid the price. As the supplement industry grew, it found ways to profit too, bottling purslane extracts for sale. while the living plant was ignored or poisoned. But the story does not end in defeat. In city parks and vacant lots, foragers quietly gather purslane for salads and stews. Mexican markets in Los Angeles and Houston sell verdolagas by the bundle. Greek grandmothers teach their grandchildren to spot glistrita among the tomatoes. Urban gardeners swap recipes online, celebrating a plant that refuses to disappear. Even as the industry pushes chemicals and convenience, communities keep purslane alive, not as a weed, but as a gift, resilient and free. Purslane thrives in cracks and fields, despite billions spent to erase it. While food insecurity rises, a nutrient powerhouse is still cast as a pest. The future of nutrition may depend less on invention and more on what we choose to overlook. Sometimes survival grows right underfoot.